A compelling detective story, a cloak and dagger action, and a romantic drama, all these stories were taken from real life. The history of Kazakhstan is inseparable from the world history. Reflections on history, our version.
A gossip column about the Khan and his wife. He did not appear at the noisy ball in the Moscow Kremlin by chance. He was a tall, slim, and slightly bald man. As a confident autocrat, he approached her across the hall. "You're so beautiful, madam. I hope you will let me admire your beauty while we dance the mazurka." This is one of the most mysterious rooms of the Atterau Museum. It is mysterious because of the mirror, which is said to belong to the Khan's wife, Fatima. Here it is. Most probably, the Khan's wife looked in this mirror to do her hair. There are richly inlaid armchairs next to it. Did the Khan and his wife really sit in these armchairs? It's said that our noble Khan sat in these wooden and suede-upholstered armchairs. There were different occasions when he could sit looking kindly or not very kindly at his subjects. Fairs and the Bukhai horde were among these occasions. In general, this was quite common. What was unusual was the Khan's wife's armchair next to the Khan's one. It is clear that Zhangir's third wife had special status. She went down in history as a woman who danced the waltz with Nicholas I of Russia during his coronation in 1826. She was clever and beautiful, like jewelry, beautiful clothes and dancing. There are gossip columns about the Khan and his wife. They contain rumors, secrets, and idle speculations. She accompanied Zhangir Khan during his trip to the coronation of Nicholas I held in Moscow in 1826. She impressed the royal court with the emperor so much that he asked her to dance himself. She was so popular, people started calling her the Asian Tsarina. Chapter 1. Smoke of the Fatherland. It happened on Gubenskaya Street in Orenburg, now renamed Sovietskaya. He saw her at the ball and asked to dance. She stepped lightly and moved gracefully, but the Khan was good at dancing too. It's a local legend. It's unknown exactly where Fatima was born, but most probably in this city. Fatima was the daughter of the Mufti of the Russian Empire, Muhammadjan Kusainov. The Orenburg Mufti did not stint on teachers for Fatima. Governesses and tutors taught her languages, manners, and everything a noble young lady of that time was supposed to know. Besides Russian and her native language, she spoke French, German, and English, and knew the rules of court etiquette. She played the piano and studied and understood the Quran. It isn't surprising that when the Khan saw her for the first time, he immediately fell in love. At that time, she was 15 like Juliet, and the Khan was 21. However, it's unknown where their first meeting took place. According to some information, Zhangir had known the Mufti from childhood and knew Fatima when she was a small girl. According to a different source of information, they met after he became Khan. Sultan Zhangir Bukay Khanov became Khan in 1823. Later, the young ruler went to Orenburg in order to discuss the ceremony of promotion to Khan with Governor-General Essien. It's said that during the reception he saw the girl there. She was educated and beautiful and was well matched for him. A few months later, Fatima became his wife. Actually, Zhangir had 4 wives and Fatima became his 3rd one. Fatima wore very elegant clothes which made her different from Zhangir Khan's other wives. You can see a copy of Fatima's costume in this showcase. Sometimes the Khan's wife wore European clothes, for example, elegant dresses, hats and gloves. When the Khan met with high society, he preferred wearing a full dress uniform too. He bore the title Major General of the Russian Army and held rank in court. If I'm not mistaken, he was an aide-de-camp. Women's clothes were highly influenced by trends. Pastel colors prevailed in the first half of the 19th century. However, married women could wear brighter clothes. We only made the sleeves longer. We don't think that an Asian woman, moreover Muslim, could wear a dress with short sleeves. We only made them longer, and the rest correspond with the fashion of the time. She was very fashionable. It's considered that she was the person who introduced Khiva silk to the court of Nicholas I. Probably her dress was sewn when they arrived in Moscow. The journey was quite difficult. They spent some weeks in the carriage. Finally, they arrived. The coronation took place in the Dormition Cathedral in September 1826. An unknown artist depicted the Muslim delegation. The coronation celebrations, including receptions, balls, and official meetings, continued for weeks. There is one more legend according to which the monarch danced with the Khan's wife. Chapter 2. The glitter, the noise, and voice of balls. It's not known what kind of dance they danced to. According to etiquette, a polonaise opened court balls. It was followed by a waltz, quadrille, and a mazurka. It wasn't easy to talk when dancing a waltz, and Nicholas wasn't fond of it. Even a polite conversation held when dancing a mazurka was considered flippant. The monarch was regarded as one of the best mazurka dancers. The ball started, and Nicholas I was immediately attracted to Fatima. He was a young Tsar, and she was just 16. Anyway, the polonaise was the main dance of the coronation celebrations. The dancers walked solemnly through the suite of rooms, and the order of the couples depended on their rank. The emperor made a sign to start dancing, but only the polonaise was danced to. Men extended their hands to the ladies, and the couples walked around a large hall and the adjacent rooms. This long walk provided an opportunity to start a conversation. From Francois Ancelot's Reminiscences. When Nicholas I saw her, he asked how she lived in the wild steppes without anything. Fatima answered, "Your Majesty, everything is perfect here, but I think that a person should live where they were born." This is from a description of the Kyrgyz Kazakh people by Ilya Kazantsev. It is said that afterwards people told each other what the emperor and the beautiful steppe Tsarina had talked about. She said that an Asian woman always followed her husband. He answered it was not a problem because Zhangir could stay there too, and they would choose another ruler for the Pukhai horde. In reply, she quoted a Russian poet saying that the smoke of her fatherland was sweet. Rumor had it that the empress knew that her husband was very affectionate towards women and breathed a sigh of relief. We don't know what is true and what is invention in this story. Everything is possible because the couple was accepted at the court, they were members of the delegation, and of course there were festivities and celebrations. I can't say who was the author of this legend, who spread it, but I want to believe in it. Chapter 3. In the beautiful Venice of the North. He was going along the Neva embankment in St. Petersburg. It seems that Zhangir quite often visited the Venice of the North. He felt he belonged to the imperial high-ranking aristocracy when he was among them. Probably the conversation about the smoke of the fatherland took place in St. Petersburg a bit later. Incidentally, the Kazakh ruler arrived in the city on the Neva for the first time immediately after he became Khan. When he was going there, an uprising occurred in the Senate Square. It's even supposed that Zhangir witnessed it himself. Some researchers insist that he was one of the first people who supported Nicholas I and sympathized with him. It's said it was the reason why the emperor was so kind to him. He attended the coronation ceremony and then was granted an audience. When Zhangir Khan was in Moscow, a gold medal inlaid with diamonds with a blue metal ribbon, a velvet dress, and dresses made of various fabrics and beaver fur costing up to 4,000 rubles were bestowed upon him from His Majesty's office. His spouse was given a diamond hair grip costing up to 3,000 rubles and various furs, fabrics, and materials. From the Asian Department's reply to the request of State Property Ministry. According to the description, there were diamonds, topazes, and something amazingly beautiful and expensive. It's quite possible that the gift was given in a festive atmosphere. During coronation ceremonies, the royal couple received the Khan and his wife almost like family members. It's interesting that Maria Fyodorovna, wife of Paul I, attended the audience too. Most likely, the meeting took place in the Kremlin in the stateroom of the so-called Nicholas Palace. The building has not remained. The Khan's voice was quiet and silky. Nicholas I was able to seem warm-hearted when he wanted to. It's beyond doubt that they liked each other. The Khan's beautiful wife charmed the royal couple. After that, they continued exchanging gifts. What brush, what chisel can depict Yelagensky Palace? These lines are attributed to Pushkin. Of course, the poet visited this fashionable place for grand festivities, but he didn't write any poetic lines about the nomad tent which was there. However, the poem about it could have been lost. Zhangir sent his nomad tent, or richly decorated yurt, to Emperor Nicholas. It was erected in the Yelaginsky Park, not far from the palace itself. It's been a year since I started making a nomad tent in Kyrgyz style. It will be very beautiful. Inside there'll be crimson and green cloth, golden braid near the top, and grills will be covered with bones, foil and mirrors. The door will be made in the same manner. The man sent to Your Excellency will be personally informed about your decorations in the nomad tent. From Zhangir's letter to Orenburg Governor General Isyan. It's said that Zhangir Khan's nomad tent was very popular. People looked at it with interest and tried to understand how it'd been made. The general, it was a kind of fashionable place to visit. Have you seen the Khan's nomad tent in the Yelagin Palace was a question people of high society often asked. According to a version of the events, when the Khan arrived in St. Petersburg, he stayed in Yelaginsky Palace. It's known that people close to the emperor often lived there. It's unknown what happened to that nomad tent later. There's no information about the jewelry given to Zhangir and his wife either. Nicholas I responded with another gift and gave Zhangir some thoroughbred horses. Zhangir sent for a man whose surname was Ogniev. This man knew how to look after horses and started interbreeding them with the Jade Kazakh breed. Later, the Tsar sent 10 more horses and interbreeding developed under Zhangir. In addition, Empress Alexandra Fyodorowna sent the Khan's wife more gold jewelry. I was happy when my husband gave me the diadem, gem necklace, and beautiful Brazilian topaz earrings as gifts Your Majesty bestowed upon me. From the Khan's wife Fatima's letters to Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna. The correspondence between Fatima and the wife of Nicholas I could play an important part in establishing informal relationships between them. Probably it wasn't the only letter the Khan's wife sent to the Empress. The Khan continued a lively correspondence with the Emperor too. It's known that Zhangir was very influential and was called Niki's favorite in high society. He was often invited to visit members of high society, but he had a lot of ill wishes too. Epilogue, the Mirror of Secrets. Every visit to St. Petersburg resulted in making both new friends and enemies. Fatima was invited to an audience with the emperor in 1845. She ordered beautiful clothes and chose each garment very carefully. However, she did not go to St. Petersburg. Zhangir died unexpectedly and Fatima passed away 3 months later. This is another mystery. The question about whether there was a connection between the couple's death and the aim of the forthcoming journey arose. Secrets and a mystery always surround the Khan and his wife.